The top trending name on Google a few days ago was Ron Reagan. He's the son of the former president Ronald Reagan. Now, during the Democratic primary debate, he actually there was actually an ad run by the Freedom from Religion Foundation, which is based in America. And the ad took a lot of people by surprise. So what I want to do is I want to play the ad and give my thoughts on it.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, an unabashed atheist, and I'm alarmed by the intrusions of religion into our secular government. That's why I'm asking you to support the Freedom from Religion Foundation, the nation's largest and most effective association of atheists and agnostics, working to keep state and church separate, just like our founding fathers intended. Please support the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
What the hell did I just see? Right, okay. So firstly, I'm happy that at least he was honest and he said lifelong atheist. Atheists pretend we're objective, we look for evidence. Look at me, I'm an atheist. I have grown up in this part of the world which is very prosperous. Sweden, I go to IKEA. Who cares? Right? You're going to burn in hell and you know it. And in fact, okay, even if you don't believe in hell, right? What's funny is that you claim to be a lifelong atheist. That's good. I like that. That's honesty. What I don't like is this fakeness. We are open to the evidence. We are willing to change our minds. We're not saying there's no God. We're just unsure. We're just open-minded. We're just free thinkers. I really like the fact that he was honest and he said, not afraid of burning in hell. The reason for that is that he's a committed atheist. He's willing to bite the bullet. What I find a bit strange about atheists online is that they have two different narratives. So they have a narrative, we are open to the evidence, we are agnostic, we're not sure. We're not saying there's no God. We're actually not making that claim. We're saying there's a lack of evidence. So that's the narrative they give during formal debates, during, when you're trying to, like the debate between Cosmic Skeptic and Muhammad Hijab. Cosmic was like, we're not making claims here. And this is what a lot of atheists do. They say, look, we're not making a claim, we just say there's a lack of evidence. Now that's a much easier position to defend than the position that there's no God. However, what you find is that when atheists like Ron Reagan, Matt Dillahunty and others, when they're speaking just to an audience in terms of trying to promote atheism, or it's not a formal debate where they need to defend their position, that's when their position changes. It's a different narrative. It's not lack of evidence. It's like, or I'm open to evidence. It's basically like we're committed atheists. We're ready to burn in hell. We have no issue with that. We are certain there's no God. But when it comes to a formal debate, they change tactics. They go back to defending a much more vaguer position. Well, I'm not really sure. I'm not really making any claims. And it's really easy. It's a get out of jail card, because what you're basically doing is you're saying, right. So the theist is making a claim there's a God. The atheist has to explain why they believe there is no God. But it's much easier to say, hey, look at me. I'm just taking pot shots at your argument. I don't even need to make an argument. I don't even have a claim. It's just neutral. So, babies which are born, if they're just born and there's no social pressure on them, then they'll just be atheists. So it's just a natural position. It's just a completely neutral position. Yet adverts like this expose their true beliefs, which are that they are certain there's no God. They are certain that this is what they're going to die upon, and they're not going to change their mind. They're clear about that. I would just want the same level of honesty when it comes to formal debates. Just say, do you know what? No problem. I'm willing to say I'm an atheist. I'm a mesotheist. I hate God. And I've met atheists who are like this. They're like, I've actually had debates, and after the debate, I've said, look, would you worship God if you saw God? And they said no. Even the debate between Dan Barker and Hamza Sotsis, you can watch it on the IRA channel. During the debate, Dan Barker, and the debate's about does God exist? Dan Barker says, if I, basically, when he dies and he sees God, right? If he sees God, he says, if I see God, I will tell God to go to hell. Now, look at that emotion he has. Look at that passion he has. I love that. I love it. I love it when you guys show your true colors, because you need to defend that position. You don't need to defend the vague position. We're unsure, you know. No, you are making a positive claim and you need to defend that claim. And in fact, the videos that you make, the books that you write, the speakers that you have, they're accessible to everyone. So this narrative that there is no God, which you have in adverts like this, and the narrative that, oh, it's just a lack of evidence. We're not really sure. We're just confused, right? We're just going to take pot shots at your argument. We're not even going to make an argument for yourself. We are watching both those narratives, and we can see that you have one different narrative for your audience, one different narrative for when you have to defend your position. Now, the other thing which I was thinking about when watching this advert was there's quite a lot of discussion about this. I think New York Post, other newspapers picked up on this, and there's a lot of tweets about it. It was trending. So, Freedom from Religion Foundation. It's interesting that when we speak about religion, we pit it against atheism, and atheism is supposed to be not a religion. It's supposed to be just completely a neutral position. However, let's look at the atheist movement today, the new atheist movement. They subscribe to liberalism and they subscribe to humanism. They do actually subscribe to these things. Now, humanism is actually a religion. In fact, Julian Huxley, one of the most influential evolutionary biologists and atheist philosophers of the last 100 years, he was clear. He believed evolutionary humanism was a religion without revelation. Even today, humanist societies, they celebrate Julian Huxley because they recognize him as one of their key figures. So freedom from religion, well, that doesn't really make any sense. It's just freedom from theistic religions as opposed to your evolutionary humanistic religion. So even the name doesn't make sense. And then again, the thing about fundraising, because that was about support Freedom from Religion Foundation. Why would we use our money to fund an organization that's there to get rid of, say, the belief in God, when according to you, the belief in God evolved to help us with social cohesion? And at the same time, you claim the belief in God leads to violence, so we should challenge it and we should get rid of it. I'm not really sure what your guys' narrative is here, because you're saying something different in terms of the genesis of the belief in God and something different in terms of getting rid of the belief in God. And then there's the question of, well, if there is a lot of violence happening in the world, wouldn't that violence continue if we stopped believing in God anyway? Because we've seen that quite clearly with the Soviet Union. And in fact, this is one of the comments that I've gotten a lot, that, oh, the communists, they were atheists, but you see, they were communists. Okay. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Okay, so Christopher Hitchens, that war criminal, may he rot in hell. He was a liberal and an atheist. Oh, no. You see, Christopher Hitchens, no, you can't blame the bloodshed in Iraq that happened on atheism, on new atheism, even though he's one of your main horsemen. Because that's his view. Okay. So what's going on here? When there is violence propagated by an atheist, promoted by an atheist, it's like, no, it's not atheism. No, atheists were nice. We believe in, if we take over the world, it's going to be bunnies and rabbits and unicorns and everyone's going to be happy. No, this is just their personal beliefs. But then when a theist says, our religion doesn't promote this violence that's being done by this particular individual, it's political, it's this, it's that, it's a Marxist interpretation of Islam, or so on and so forth. You don't accept that argument. You say, no, it's the religion. No, it's the religion. No, it's enough for us. It's the theists who did the violence. Well, the door swings both ways. It's enough for us that the atheists did the violence. But there is one difference, though. There is one difference. And that difference is this. On the minimum, whether you accept it or not, we at least have an argument for why that violence is wrong. We can actually say we believe in God. We believe in objective morality. We believe this is not right. But the violence done by the atheists, whether they were liberals like Hitchens or violence done by Stalin, how do you justify that? How do you challenge that? You don't believe in objective morality. You don't believe in morality is binding, that it is something which is objective. So how would you say that what Stalin did or what Christopher Hitchens did is basically wrong from your perspective? We at least have an argument, whether you accept it or not, but we at least have an argument. We at least attempt to do things. So freedom from religion? No, I don't think I'm going to financially support you guys. What I am going to do, however, is just point out that spending your money on something like this, an organization which is there to get rid of religion, explain that to me from a Darwinian perspective. So let's just say I accept your Darwinism, right? I accept it, survival and reproduction. Woohoo! All right. Why shall I give my money to support a foundation which is there to get rid of religion? I mean, as long as I'm happy, as long as I'm surviving and reproducing, it doesn't really matter. Why would I help in this particular area? Now, I want to address a contention that I've heard. Now, on this channel, I regularly speak about how Darwinism doesn't make sense in terms of human behavior. And then Darwinists get really upset. And they're like, no, human behavior, you can't try and explain it in terms of Darwinism. Man, come on, that's ridiculous. Yet, things which supposedly fit in line with Darwinism, that is happily endorsed by Darwinists. They write about it. The selfish gene is full of those sort of examples. We have this thing, oh wow, look, it fits. Oh wow, this fits. In fact, you even find newspaper articles written whenever a political event happens. Like, for example, the event that happened, some political event. I remember reading an article, and that was being explained by tribalism and evolutionary biology. So what's going on, Darwinists? That when you see that, you're like, okay, fine, let me try and explain that in terms of Darwinism. But when there's a clear discrepancy, then you're like, no, come on, what are you doing? How can you apply Darwinism to social behavior? The door swings both ways. If you're going to apply it in this perspective, then somebody else has the right to apply it from another perspective. Freedom from religion, another deluded organization. Do not support it. Instead, ridicule it. Because ridicule is what needs to be done with these people. They believe their worldview is so strong, it's just overwhelming. And all we need to do is we need to understand their worldview is purely something that is reverse engineered so they can live a particular lifestyle. That's all it is. Because why is it that the people who turn to atheism, they automatically have the same values as the Western world, not as Chinese values, Indian values, African values, Latin American values, Hispanic values? There's an inferiority complex. There is a sort of, this is just human beings being vulnerable that we are, that when you have a prevailing superpower, when you have a prevailing civilization, then automatically people start looking at their material wealth and then linking that material wealth to their values. So you look at the Western world, oh, look, it's amazing, it's all this stuff happening, and therefore their secularism must be right. But then why don't we just apply that to other times when secularism took over, right? Secularism, so Poland, for example, is not a super rich country. You have a history of secular history there with the former Soviet Union. They're not doing economically as well as the UK. So they both were secular. What's going on? British Empire, and there was no such thing as the Polish going around colonizing the rest of the world. So that's the difference. It's not simply that, oh, if you're secular, somehow, things are going to be amazing, things are going to be peaceful, things are going to be great. In fact, we've had a lot of examples of secular leaders causing immense bloodshed. So, freedom from religion? No. You cannot escape religion. You just move from one religion to another religion. The only thing that we need to do is we need to have a debate about what is the right way, what is the right system of belief, rather than trying to pretend as if, oh, religion is this and atheism is this. No, you cannot make that false dichotomy. Religion is inescapable, and the religion of evolutionary humanism, that is exactly what you are, as Julian Huxley, one of your great founders, described you. So you need to subscribe to that, you need to defend that, and not try and make these silly foundations such as the Freedom from Religion Foundation.